People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing, and it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard, and you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society and the ones that didn't, oftentimes it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion.
Yeah. Okay. Welcome to the Crazy Pills podcast. Today I have my good buddy Doug, and we're going to talk about, I guess, being a trainer, personal training, group training, just being in charge of other people's fitness. Right. So, like, how long have you been training?
So for me, it's been about, as a career, 9 years. And then before that, I was kind of helping out just friends.
Okay, so when did you actually first start? What do you mean friends?
Friends, it was kind of, once I started applying fitness as far as not just sports, but in the gym, into my own lifestyle, I started seeing the changes and everything. And then from there, I had people come up and ask me, what I was doing, and if I could help them and kind of start them on the right path.
But as far as as a professional, 9 years?
9 years.
Oh shit, man.
It's been a long time.
Okay.
Putting age on me.
I actually feel like I'm still really new, but I've been doing it for 8 years now.
8 years, okay.
So I started in 2012.
Yeah.
Okay, and then, because I get this question a lot, right? So obviously as you get older, I'm gonna stay the same, but as you get older, so basically your generation kind of fades away. You have a new wave of younger trainers.
Yeah.
Right? What did you think when you started? What did you think was required to be a good trainer? What was your mindset then? Because I'm sure some of it was accurate and a lot of it wasn't.
Yeah, I think, when I first started, it was a lot of how to be just very knowledgeable with the books and following routine of what you learn and everything.
So NASM and
and it was very, I think, the surface level as you train people, and then now you start kind of realizing it's a lot of adding in this psychological elements. What gets people going?
Fucking with people's heads.
Psychological element.
What do you mean psychological?
Finding out, before I would preach a certain thing. This is the way to do it, yada yada. But now it's more of, what do you enjoy? What are you more likely to stay consistent with? Yeah. What do you find just to keep yourself active to hit your goals?
So what by the book is the best way?
Oh no,
is probably more often than not the best way for
no, absolutely not. Yeah. And I tell a lot of people I encounter, that want to jump into the fitness world, they want to go and get their certification, and the last thing I would say is follow exactly to the T what they tell you in the book.
Yeah.
Find what you like.
Okay, and then if you could go back, so whether to tell yourself when you first started or a new trainer, what would you actually tell them probably is not as important as they think? And then why? And then what's actually more important? So the other end of that question. So what's not as important as they think?
That's a tough question. What's not as important, I think, is a lot of kind of following the strict guidelines. Kind of like what we just talked about if you're speaking about training. Strict guidelines in sets, reps, etc. Maybe a certain style. And then I think what I'm starting to learn more of is just the consistency, routine, and a lot on adding in the more dynamic type moves, more just overall athletic style, especially as you get older.
Okay, what about I think this is one for people that are not very confident.
Yeah.
How do you actually get to a point where someone you're training, there's it's not even that they have confidence in you, because that fluctuates from day to day sometimes too. It's more you're not worried about your confidence and you're focused on something else rather than you have credibility with them or whether they trust you. Like what do you feel like is that barrier? Like,
in my confidence, or
it's kind of like there's your confidence and how much they trust you, right? And then there's the person. So like for you, it's a camper, whatever. So Doug mostly does boot camp now, right? Or actually exclusively.
Yeah.
So he started CG here in Orlando, Camp Gladiator. If you don't want to do CrossFit, but you want to do boot camp stuff, go check out Camp Gladiator. Okay. Now, or you have like someone new, right? Like, and then what do you think is
how to get their confidence up?
How do you basically break through that barrier where there's no longer any like feeling out like, can I trust this person? It's more like, okay, listen, let's actually start.
I think it's I mean,
fix your form and like that kind of stuff, rather than like whether they could trust you. So like this is probably, and I'm asking you this because you do it naturally.
Personal relationship. Where's your question going, Kwon?
Yeah, like there's like it's probably something more that newer trainers worry about a lot more. And then I'll actually throw this in here. People will probably think I'm sexist. Oh well, fuck. I notice this with a lot of female trainers too, right? A concern on their mind is that because they're female, guys won't listen to them. That's a common one that I actually notice with female trainers. Not all female trainers, but there's definitely a significant percentage.
Yeah.
So not asking you to answer that one.
I think overall it's, and I'm not sure if this is exactly answering your question, but more of like you develop the relationship, you develop, and that can be through multiple things, whether it's pointing out specific like motivations, hitting certain landmarks, honestly like getting to know them, talking to them as a one-on-one, just as a person, not even in the fitness realm. But then I think a lot of times once you have the ability to communicate to that person like what you're trying to communicate, and kind of relate to what they, I guess, what makes sense in their head versus just like what makes sense in your head, and then you can kind of like develop that into a, I guess, more confidence level, if that makes sense at all. I don't know. I'm trying to
okay, how about this? I'll tell you my thoughts on it and tell me what you think.
I'm trying to get an idea of what you're asking.
I think like this isn't just training, this is like every area of life, right? So if you're pretty good at something, you'll be able to relate to this. So in every area of life, the standard in society for that area is actually very low once you know what you're doing. Okay. So like the standard for what being fit is really, really low. I mean, I've had people like, are you trained to be in the Olympics? I'm like, that's like magnitudes away, like 3 magnitudes away. It's like, no, you're in really good shape. Like you could do it. I'm like, no, I can't. There's nothing I can do.
Sorry, Kwon.
Even close to that, right? So it's the same thing with being a trainer. And then really how much people in general know, and then like how much you need to know to be able to help them. You don't need to know that much. And especially the more knowledgeable you get, the more experience you get, the more you actually realize how like you don't know shit.
Yeah,
right? Like
100%.
People think I don't know shit. Okay, and I know more than most everyone I come. No, not most trainers. Most people that I come across where I can help them. Okay, so there is a amount that you need to know to be able to help them. So you need to know how to you need to know, for example, what you're looking for in the movement, right? So then like if they do need to make corrections, you have a couple different cues that you could give them. There'll be a few that works, maybe some that don't, and then sometimes it might be a physical cue, sometimes it might be an audio. You guys don't do this in boot camp, you don't have time, but sometimes I'll actually be able to record it and then show them. So when they see themselves, then like we can actually, like then they'll actually get it and they'll click in. Okay, but you don't actually need to know that much. You just need to know more than them. Beyond that, you're just not gonna, your style and your personality and just whatever the hell you're putting out is not gonna match everyone. Yeah. Right? It can match a lot of people, but there are gonna be people that are just easy, and there's gonna be people where, to you it just seems like it's a challenge coaching them, or at the very least it's not nearly as easy as the other person. Okay. Yeah. And then from there you kind of evaluate, okay, what can I do better? What can I how do I work on certain aspects where like I can maybe like do a better job, but at a certain point it's just not a fit, so you need a baseline amount of ability. It's way lower than what new trainers think.
Yeah.
And then from
100%.
there, it's really just being yourself and like showing your personality. And then when you do that, most people, you'll actually be able to train them. Some people you'll click in with them really, really well. And there's always going to be that small percentage where it just doesn't really click, right? And then like maybe like to you, you're like this person's like coachable, and you watch someone else and they just like open up, they listen to that person, and they just follow them all the time, right? Like again, very, very uncommon, but that's my experience of it. So like, so to really be able to help them, it's, in my opinion, the more you can just be yourself and have your personality come through in your coaching, the more effective it's going to be. Because when you can just be yourself, right? Like you don't have to have confidence to be yourself, because that's just being you. Whereas like when you're, and this is really common for newer trainers too, they'll have like this model in their head of what a trainer is supposed to be, right? So the one that, and I'll ask you, the one that I probably will roll my eyes at the most is the model where people feel like they have to motivate. So they have to get in people's face, bring a lot of high energy to hype this person up, and then being a good trainer equals like making the workout hard.
No.
Right?
like that was when I was younger.
Yeah. Right. Like it's not.
You don't have to kill them every time.
It's very easy to make the workout hard for someone,
Yeah.
right? To have them feel like they're destroyed, for them to sweat nonstop, for them to feel like they're hitting muscle failure. Like that's very easy. And then like getting in their face and motivating and bring high energy all the time. Some people it's natural for them, right? Other people, that's not their thing. Like if that's not how you express the best, you could try to go that route. It's just going to be a lot of effort all the time, and the person being trained or coached
receiving
could feel like it's not authentic.
No, I
don't
can
react as well.
I can definitely relate to that. Like I've seen other trainers come on board, and they have that idea, like, oh, I got to kill them. I've got to be super peppy, energetic, everything. But then you start noticing as soon as whatever crowd, and I'm talking this way, like group setting, if the crowd's not responding to them and their hype and everything, all of a sudden their confidence and everything, you can tell, like, is not there. Their personality is not there. They're not.
So just for you personally, is there like a pet peeve you have, like something that trainers that you notice do, not naming anybody, that irks you a little bit or frustrates you? Or
I mean, not like nothing bad, but it kind of gets on me when, not it gets on me, but when trainers have this like idea, and kind of similar to what you're talking about, if like, hey, I'm motivating, I'm pushing you, and they're not, responding back in this high energy sense. They're like, oh, they must be here, they must not be enjoying it.
Yeah.
But, and then they let that kind of get on their nerves, or they end up blending that, where it's just like, you have to be accepting of.
Yeah, so what you're talking about is like they're basically imposing what they want
on other people,
on the person. Whereas like really to do it, I feel like to do it at the highest level, you get a sense of like what it is a person you're training really wants.
Yep.
Right? Sometimes they're there to just really, really push it. They're feeling it. Sometimes they're there just to actually be social, and then the working out is like secondary to that.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just want to actually just move lightly, and then that's it.
Everyone's a little different.
They don't really feel like pushing. And I guess every person has one they generally like the most, but even then, like, especially women, and then guys that are a little bit older, right? They don't have the same goal every day.
Yeah.
When they go in there, right? And you just gotta get a feel for it, and then it's like someday when I feel like, and, I don't know if you know this, like when I get a sense like, okay, she's just not really feeling it today. Okay, she barely made it over. I don't know what's over there. Like, how do I still help her get what she wants, without being like scared to interact with her, right? So like it's like, how do I, basically it's like getting a feel for like how can I still kind of push and encourage and like or even help her connect to why she's here, the enjoyable part, but not not push when it's inappropriate or like not where she's at, and then turn her off, and then basically she shuts down.
Yeah,
and it's.
I think you nailed it on the head there. Yeah,
yeah.
you just, each person's different, and
Yeah.
if you talk to someone and you're getting that feeling, you're not going to get up in their face, and you're probably going to reward them for actually just showing up and getting moving, and that's a big part of it.
Yeah, and
hardest part.
Yeah, in my experience too, is like if that's your goal, is to actually really help this person get what they're there for. Even if you mess up, they don't hold it against you. You know, you can apologize, you back off a little bit. You know, like it's not that big of a deal. Whereas I've seen it where, you know, Coach A takes the hardcore route, like basically like, oh, like what are you here for? Like basically,
you have to be
going a little like tough,
killing yourself for
yeah, and then the person that's being trained just gets completely turned off, and then doesn't want to go to his or her class again, and then and just literally just shut down for ever, or at least for like a long time. I've seen that a lot.
Yeah, and I would definitely say when I was younger, I kind of had definitely the more mentality of like, oh, people are gonna come out, I'm gonna kill them, I'm gonna kick their butt. Like they're gonna leave getting a kick butt workout, and yes, you can deliver that, but you can also deliver it to a group where some people are there to work out, some people are there just to get moving and to be active, and some people are there just to keep their mind off like whatever happened throughout the day, and you know, burn off some stress.
See, I've never had that training, but mine was so the when I first started coaching, and it actually didn't, it came pretty easy for me as far as like, because like my way of coaching was whatever I was coaching, I would basically evaluate how I learned the movement, how it feels for me, and then just kind of like verbalize it and explain it to them that way. So like it worked actually pretty well even when I started out, but my focus or obsession was on them doing it right.
Yeah.
Okay. And it took a while, probably like 2 years, to really get like, sometimes they only want to do it right to a certain degree. It's just like if you have someone do a
That's
diet,
your pet
right?
peeve.
Yeah, whatever the perfect diet is.
Yeah.
If there's no cheat days, there's no leeway, where you have to do it perfect day after day, every single meal, over and over and over again, they're going to burn out, and it's like the long-term success isn't actually going to be as, it's actually not going to be as successful as you give them a little wiggle room and then you adjust a little bit, and it's almost like if they do it 80%, they relate to it as a win, as opposed to like, hey, they fucked up 20%.
Yeah, you're always wrong.
Right? And like that's a big thing for me is getting like, you don't have to always go for a PR. You don't always have to like have the perfect form and like correct and then figure it out that day and like we'd be working on it, and like giving people the leeway to do their shitty form.
Well, especially in like a group setting. I mean, can you imagine like how just demoralizing that is if there's a coach teaching 10 people and he spends 80% of the time with you being like, no, like do this, tuck your hips a little more. You're like, why are you singling me out?
Yeah, and then there's also an amount, right? So like obviously, you know, anyone knows me, like, you know, I'm a nerd, so I get analytical, and then I can, if like most people want this, I could talk about this much, right? And it's actually going to feel like tone it down. So it's like, how do I simplify it to just some of the key stuff? And then even then kind of getting a feel for like what the class and then what the individual actually needs that day. So like usually when I talk to new coaches, right, I'll tell them there's 2 components to coaching. Okay, so one is your ability to actually technically help them. So that also comes down to, you know, being able to match them emotionally and kind of meet them where they're at, and then kind of just help them to the next level, right? There's that part. But the second one is your ability to command the room or to command the group.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, and this is actually where I learned a lot in CG, right? And then I think you guys probably got it from Allie, the lady that started CG. So when I'm coaching a class, right, and I'm going through a warm-up, okay, we're gonna do 10 toe touches, right? As the first person is finishing the toe touch, right, you're already almost kind of
give me the next cue.
Yeah, figuratively, not figuratively. Like, what is that? Like you're already given the next cue. Yeah. So that the first person doesn't actually have nothing to do. Yeah. They're already kind of moving on to the next thing. So you're kind of guiding, and then it allows you to kind of like grasp like the whole group and then kind of like move them together. So it feels like everything is
one fluid.
Everything is
motion.
organized and controlled, and it's not going at too fast of a pace. But like, there's also like you don't actually lose control of them, right? So like losing control of them would be okay. So
The person
you
being
wait,
like, hey,
5 of them
what do
are
I
done,
have?
right? 5 of them are done
Yeah.
out of 10, and then they're just waiting around, and then they start chatting or they walk away to do the stuff, and then once you kind of lose control of them, it's actually just more challenging. It just takes more effort and like friction to bring them back in.
Yeah.
And then also
It's like children.
It doesn't feel like that's as smooth as far as like their experience, right? So like, or like if you're giving instructions, right? It's like even getting a feel for like how much instruction to give, right? So if you're explaining the whole workout, right? Like, you know, like which ones you actually want to focus on, and then which ones you kind of like just guide them as they're doing it and figure it out. So like a lot of it is like getting a feel for that, and it's not the same every time. There's definitely stuff that works like better. Like for example, you have one off the top of your head you can think of? Like just
workout?
like just as far as like almost like I won't say a technique, but just like a way that you make sure like people are organized. Like,
Yeah,
so that
I
they already
mean,
know the next. So I know like one.
There's a million different things.
Yeah,
but
like I know like one.
counting down.
Yeah, like as they're finishing the warm up, right? Like I have them go and grab a barbell. Hey, as soon as you're done, like go grab a barbell and then set it down over here. In a minute, we're gonna meet by the whiteboard to go over the workout. So like you almost like you talk it out,
And they at least know.
Yeah. So while you still have control over them, or like basically that you're still guiding them through it, you can already set up the next thing. There's an expectation, and then it's a lot easier.
Yeah, I always, as soon as they finish the warm up, I'll just tell them, hey, you got 60 seconds. Because some people are coming in, different times from like a lap or something.
Yeah.
And as soon as you get in, like you got 60 seconds, stretch out anything else you need to stretch out. And then I'll give them like, just in case people are just like, oh, I don't know what to stretch out. And you're like, all right, here's 3 or 4 different stretches, dynamic moves you can jump into. And that way they're not waiting.
What about people that are interrupting your class?
Interrupting. I do that.
What do you do?
I go, everyone clap twice, clap 3 times. And a lot of people, as soon as you get that physical kind of command in, they have a hard time talking and, talking and doing things at the same time. Multitasking.
So
Rub your stomach, pat your head.
Yeah, so for mine, in class, if someone's like talking or distracted, right, and it's I could actually even like kind of walk over, like put my hand on their back as I keep talking.
Making me nervous.
Yeah, or just like two people talking, I kind of like scoot my way in between them as I'm talking. But it's more like purposely doing it to be funny. It's
Yeah,
funny too.
I mean
but
I think you want to make the class fun.
Yeah, you never want to. So like you never get mad at someone.
Yeah. Reprimand and ruin the mood.
Yeah,
and
you
the
never
vibe.
reprimand. And then like you never call someone out to belittle them or basically put them on the spot where
100%.
They feel bad or people laugh at them. You can even like when someone's like interrupting, right? And like let's just say like I walk over in between them, I talk, right? I'm still doing it in a way where like they're actually more focused on how ridiculous it is, like what I'm doing, rather than like what the people that are talking. And I actually don't find it offensive.
Plus, if they can laugh about it afterwards, then doesn't.
Yeah, and then like the key is like
they get the point.
The key is that you're not like offended, then you're pretending you're not. Like I don't actually get offended. Like so I don't know why. Like if someone's late for class, someone's like talking or just we're not really paying attention, it never actually bothers me, right?
Yeah.
But like it just occurs like, okay, like there's almost like a disruption in the flow, and then it's like, how do I
get back into it?
Almost like herd the sheep to make it flow better.
Yeah.
And then as long as you're not actually like upset about it, and
I think when you are upset about it, they can tell, and that's not what you want. I would say if people get upset, I've
even
seen
if you're upset and you do a good job of faking it, it's just not the same.
I would say definitely when I started, if someone was talking in the back, or if someone came to class late, I would be frustrated.
Yeah.
And I could immediately tell, like, okay, well, hopefully no one could tell, but I could feel it. I could feel it, and I would feel like thrown off.
Yeah.
Now it doesn't bother me anymore, and I'm just like, it is what it is.
So I want you to notice this. I think this is what you're doing now. So does it just not bother you, or it bothers you, but you actually just notice that it bothers you, and then so you can actually just acknowledge it really quick, and then it kind of
It's like a brief second. Yeah. It's a brief second, and
and that's actually a better way to describe it. It's not that it doesn't bother me, or like, even though a lot of it doesn't even seem like it, but it's more like, okay, it bothers me. I'm acknowledging that it bothers me, and like as soon as you just kind of acknowledge that that's there, then you could just shift your attention to something else.
Yeah.
And your attention's actually not on resisting something else.
Yeah, no, for sure. Let's do it.
What was I gonna say? What about when you're coaching and you feel like you don't feel like coaching?
The hard,
Right.
I think
so
for
first
me,
of all, do you know any trainer that's on all the time? I'm sure there's some.
Oh, on all the time?
On all the time, like every single time, like they're excited to train and whatever.
You know,
very uncommon.
I was gonna say, I think it takes a very special person to be that way.
Yeah.
We're all human beings. We go through our ups and downs.
Yeah. So whoever like posts on Instagram and social media, it's like, I love training, you know, like I love it every day, whatever. Fucking lying. maybe not, but I don't
pulling all nighter and then with good training. And
like you're telling me you feel great all the time.
Sleep, or
you didn't just have a shitload of Mexican food and you feel sluggish. You know, you got great sleep. Like you had coffee every time. You didn't somehow miss out on your coffee. Like you're just on all the time. Like bullshit. So when you're not feeling it, what do you think is the best way to go about it?
For me, it's I don't know. I feed off other people's energy just as my personality. And so if I get out there and I start making those like personal, just quick connections with people that are already out there, I forget kind of everything else, and the energy just builds upon itself.
Okay, so you're more socializing.
Yeah, so a little bit more on the social side, and then I get that like I just start getting a little bit more peppy, a little more positive. Everything starts flowing. My personality feels better.
So then basically by like 5 or 10 minutes in, you're just in the flow, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so my version of doing that, is I would say probably 8 out of 10 times for the 5:30 a.m. class when I coach it, I don't feel like coaching. There's no momentum. I just woke up a little bit, rather than just try to bring high energy. So because I'm not there to try to do that, it just feels like a lot of effort.
Don't fake it.
It feels like fake, right?
Yeah.
I literally just coach from exactly where I'm at. So like, it's like, man, I feel a little tired. Okay, so guys, let's come over here. Whatever, like. Right, I'm not even pretending like my energy is different than where it's at. And then once I actually just coach from there, automatically I start getting more momentum, and it usually within like 2 or 3 minutes, it just feels like I'm good.
Yeah.
Right. Like I can't even think of the last time where I just felt low energy the whole class.
Yeah. You feed off people. I think I read, not read, but a guy who does public speaking was talking about getting energy before he goes up on stage, and he's like, sometimes he has like the worst, absolute worst days, doesn't want to get on stage, and he has this challenge he challenges himself to, and it's to run around like the lobby, the bathroom, or whatever, and get
himself hyped.
High five 5 people and tell them like they're awesome, even though it seems corny. When he's like, by the time you end up high-fiving 5 people, this is pre-corona.
Okay, pre-corona. Okay.
He's like, you feel a little more pepped up.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even like. No. I don't even feel like wanting to do that. It's just like, oh my god, that's
the dread.
I just want to go home and go to bed. So then, okay, here I am. Right. So I'll actually coach from there. Not like, but it's not like I'm like trying to dump my low energy on other people. It just, I'm just, this is where I'm at right now. So like, if there's one thing I can do, it's just to be as like authentic and real to where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
And then to coach from there. Right. Because like if I try to resist it, and I tried it before, it's like, oh, well, I think whatever, doing all this stuff, like it actually took longer. Whereas like if I do that, it's very, very quick for me.
Makes sense.
So just like to coach from where I'm at. Okay. We'll end with this. What is your favorite part about coaching? Your least favorite part about coaching? And then,
that's tough.
If you had to give one advice, and I think I already kind of did it, to a new trainer.
Yeah, we kind of went
one
through that.
Piece of advice, but like if you had to condense it down to one or 2 sentences.
I think
favorite part
about coaching is the people and the relationships you make, and just it's big, but getting to see people like experience the change that maybe like I've experienced in the past.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. Like when people post like their milestones they hit and accomplishments and goals, and I feel like that's where gives you the butterflies of why you started coaching. So I love that aspect.
And let's say, not least favorite part, probably the most frustrating part.
Frustrating part is I think when you have someone that you want to connect with, but that there's the challenge, and there's a certain point where you don't want to give up on them, but at the same time, like it's just not sometimes the best fit.
Okay, so they're not. They literally just don't want to be there. Like when there's no.
Yeah, they just don't want to listen to you.
Like they don't even want to help themselves.
And exactly. And you're trying to connect, and you're trying to get them to see like what you see, and you try to get them to see the potential that they could accomplish.
Yeah. I have a solution for that. Just don't sign them up in the first place.
Don't let them in.
Yeah.
Oh, too funny.
I mean, that's what actually what I not purposely, like it's funny enough, you read all these books on sales and like how to go about it and stuff, and like for me now it's just like you just present what you're about, and obviously there's self-reflection on like, did you actually communicate clearly? Did you answer their question? Like, were you talking more about what you want,
connect on a deeper
about
level,
what they want, whatever, right? And it just like from there, it's either a match or it's not. Like, why even like force it when it's not a match?
Yeah.
But okay, so when they don't want to be there, when you care more about their success than
they do, yeah.
Okay,
that's a good way to put it.
And then what about
advice I'd give to
condensed advice for a new trainer?
Yeah. Man, I think if I could go back, I mean, I think you should be training because you love it and you have the passion for it. If you have the passion for it, like you're always trying to become better, and
how do you
you're
know
just
if you
curious.
Have the passion for it?
I don't know. For me, I when I talk to other trainers, I mean, I could spend hours watching YouTube videos or Instagram, like fitness videos, whether educational, motivational, whatever it is, and that really just, I don't know, I can just do it and it's fun and go through it. So maybe the passion on that side, and then the passion also of just being out there on the field and with people, but not dreading it. Like some people just aren't happy training. Like they come out and they're all they talk about their training is, man, I hated this client that did this, and I hated this. I'm like, why are you doing it then? I don't know if you've met trainers like that, where it's just, I'm like, man, you're like negative energy. This isn't.
Okay, yeah.
But so yeah, I would say giving advice is like, make sure you're passionate about it, and then just kind of the same thing, being yourself and letting yourself be confident and to connect with people. Let people know you, not this image of what you think you should be or what you have to be or what the fitness world says.
Yeah. Whatever the model you think it should be,
trend or something,
like the personality, just do your own personality.
Like I'm not gonna watch a maybe not P90X, but a video where someone's all peppy and everything, and everyone's saying, oh, it's the new thing, and then I'm not gonna get out there and be like, peppy, and I can't see you being a cheerleader. Coach, yes.
Well, like definitely not peppy, but like pointing out, like, and actually, I'll answer the question too. So most rewarding part of training is actually like being there when a person like when a person really gets like their worldview or their perception of fitness, what they're capable of, where they place their value system, like just how their body, fitness, movement occur to them is different from, say, 3 months ago when they first started, and actually really recognizing it's completely different. And I'm not saying that's impossible for them to go back, but even if they go back, they would have had this experience now where they know
what it could be.
There's something different. And then and that's really, really rewarding for me, because from there, right, like the trajectory of their life is different, and then like who knows who they come in contact with.
Everything.
So like a lot of it's like the big picture stuff for me. It's just like noticing that there's a shift in trajectory. So that's like the most fulfilling part. The most frustrating part is actually also the part that feels a hunger to really want to help people. Is like knowing that whatever is getting in their way is actually so simple.
Yeah.
Like whatever you feel like you're struggling with, it's actually so simple. And it doesn't have to be this hard. It doesn't. it doesn't have to be like such a struggle, but it just hasn't connected for them yet that it could be effortless and easy.
Reasons, excuses, whatever it is, yeah.
Yeah, and
Just
like
take a step.
Yeah, and like whether it's like something like diet, it's mindset, it's a certain movement or like workout, because I've been there before. So like I know what it's like when I couldn't do it, and I know kind of like what I went through to get it, and then when I got it, and then so like helping other people get that. Like the frustrating part is like when it's literally a block.
Yeah.
That they think it's something else, and that's actually them. They're getting in their own way over and over. It's every time.
Even
like,
if you can see it, it's getting them to see it.
And it's like so I almost wish like we could just like hive mind and connect, and they could just like
see it from my
get it.
eyes.
Not even like the knowledge, just like get it, because like once you get it, right? It's like like for example, like you take Elon Musk, you put him in like a homeless person's body, and that person will end up being really, really rich really quick and start a business and stuff, right? Just because like it's like there's already a mentality. There's already a way of being that's available to that person, where like once you get it, no matter the circumstance, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And like and it's like when they're going through that, it's like and you can't just tell them. You can't just tell them. I mean, you can, but like you tell them, they're not going to get it, right? It's like they almost have to go through the process of figuring that out. Kind of like when I was 25, I bought a brand new M3. I ended up paying like 85 grand for it. All the shit on it, right? I had to do that and get it out of my system to actually get like the vehicle I drive doesn't matter that much to me.
Yeah.
Right. But like if I didn't do it, I would still be wondering like, now I'll probably
should I get a brand new car or should I?
Yeah. But once I did it, and then like, I had the car for a year and then I sold it. Once I got it out of my system, like once I like, okay, like,
not a big deal.
It's not that big of a deal. But I remember when I first got a car, right? My dad came and visited me. He got in the car. I'm like, I thought he would be like, it's like, oh, good for you. You bought this car. He literally drove it. He goes, why do you need a car like this? I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
Don't you think it's
not
awesome?
What I was expecting.
Don't you think it's awesome? He's like, yeah, it's like a cool car, but like, you're 25.
Worth
why do you need a
it?
car like this? And it was just like, I didn't get why he made that comment.
Yeah.
Right. Whereas like, now I guess like, what the fuck? Why the fuck did I need a car like that? But I had to actually go through the experience, right? But almost kind of like probably how my dad viewed me. It's like, oh, I just wish you don't need a car like this.
Yeah.
I had to go through the experience to get it. And like, it's frustrating to know that, say person A, who is struggling with how she relates to body fat, and then like, no, not her body fat, her weight, okay? It's like, I'm gaining weight. How do you feel like you look? Well, I look better. How do you fit in your clothes? It fits better.
Wow.
But like I'm like 8 pounds heavier. I'm like, yeah,
Muscle,
you never like lifted weights when you started. Look at you now.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but like the emotional connection there. So there's almost
Between
like
the
an
two.
understanding, and then like, and it's like I just wish they could get it faster. But like it takes people however long.
Right
to figure
timing.
it out.
Yeah, right timing in life.
Yeah, and then if I had to give a word of advice to a new trainer, just don't worry so much about getting getting some kind of like high-paying job, especially because it's almost like a server at a restaurant. There's so many people that want to be trainers, right? Like, if you really want to work on your training experience, no amount of studying or reading is going to substitute for experience, live training people. And to actually get that experience, to get the amount you want without having to fuck up a lot, like the best way is to basically go like offer to do it for free for certain gyms, not for indefinitely, but just, and then relate to it more like you're soaking in experience. So you're actually getting to practice. Yeah, you're getting to practice.
Yeah.
You're getting to like figure out what works and what doesn't. You could get to observe other people, but then like you're observing them as a trainer too. And then once you start, you'll actually waste a lot less time, and then save yourself a lot of like frustration. Just like probably once a month now, I'll get like someone come into me, like email or something, and it's like, hey, they want to train, and sometimes they have no experience, but they just graduated, have this degree, the resume where it's like, the resume is like, so you worked at a restaurant, you do this, then you have a degree in exercise science, okay, and then you're working on your master's or whatever, and then like you want me to hire you.
Yeah.
Like,
That's not.
you know what I mean? Like, what can you like actually like offer and
Yeah.
value for someone to also give you the experience to actually train other people, right?
Personality,
So, hey,
connecting with people.
Yeah. So I'm like, hey,
Everything.
this is Dave's brand new college, and he's like learning to be a trainer, like, so he's going to learn, observe, and also like teach what he knows. Like, they're going to know that you don't know shit, or like you might have like
Book smarts.
info like in your head,
Yeah.
but then like you don't know shit about like actual like experience training.
Yeah.
Like to bridge that, you just gotta actually do it.